Cinco de Mayo. Now, me and Mika was out here. We was having a good time. And nothing went on. Everything went on without a hitch. Was over in Mexican town. We did a lot of things. Now, to be fair, Mika wasn't here on Sunday because she had to catch a flight. But Saturday, it was really, really dope. We had a lot going on. It was awesome. Good energy. Good vibes everywhere. And so shout out to everybody that celebrated Cinco de Mayo. I had former Mayor Kwame Kilpatrick. We kicked it with him. So he was out here in these streets. So shout out to him. So Cinco de Mayo largely in most places went off without a hitch. Except over in one place. Yep, you guessed it. Chicago. Chi-Town. Chi-Town. They literally had to cancel the Cinco de Mayo parade because gangs decided that they wanted to take over what was happening in the city. But before we get to that, let me bring you up to speed of what happened overnight in Chicago at an Irish pub.
Irish Nobleman Pub has serviced this community for nearly a century, but the current owner tells me crime in the area has gotten out of control with folks just targeting patrons wanting to have a good time. Right now, Chicago police are looking for 3 men that are responsible for entering the bar, I should say, with guns and actually shooting at the owner as well as a waitress here.
Hey, I saw him come in the door, and I went to tell him, hey, we're closed, and they pointed a gun right at me.
Surveillance footage capturing 3 robbers entering the business. Once inside, patrons surrendering with hands raised as they're held at gunpoint.
They were just cursing and telling us all, everyone put their hands up, and I grabbed the waitress and went out the back door, and they shouted, go get him.
The thieves got away with customers' purses, cell phones, wallets, and nearly $250 in cash from the register. It happened Saturday, 1:45 a.m. at Irish Nobleman Pub along West Erie. Owner Declan Morgan says he was shot at 3 times, the bullet striking his Ford truck and Jeep Rubicon.
I was more worried about my staff and the customers, and then after it's when it kind of hit you. I'm like, geez, I could have been dead here, and my wife would have been here to raise a newborn on her own.
The thieves were in and out in under 3 minutes, leaving customers shaken. The Irish Pub has served the community for nearly a century. Many of the patrons are regulars from all walks of life, simply wanting a cold beer. Morgan now plans to hire armed security, and the business will no longer accept cash.
We had a car in our building in March. We had the building shot up across the street where we live in January. It's the Wild West out here, so now my wife is basically saying we have to move.
Now, you know women. One thing about women, listen, when they start sensing any sense of violence, when it gets a little too rough, when they see a close call and nothing really happened, they be like, you know what? It's time to move. One thing about women is that their natural response is to remove themselves. Most guys will be like, you know what? We need to get some security. We need to make some adjustments. We need to go ahead and do some things differently. Women be like, you know what? Kill the business, shut it down. We'll figure out what to do with it later. It's time to move. It's time to go. All of that over $250? Let me see something. 250 divided by 3, 7, 14, 21, 8, 16, 24. Y'all got a little bit over $80 plus whatever it is that y'all got from the patrons. And most people don't even carry cash like that. They just carry their cards. Y'all got a little over $80 a piece. $80 a piece. And you got an attempted murder on your jacket. And the police is going to be looking for you. And you got to hope that your homeboys don't snitch on you if one of them get caught. All of that over $80? $80. So that was what was happening overnight. The thieves came in and robbed and carjacked over there at the Irish Pub over there in Chicago. But check this out. This is what was happening for Cinco de Mayo.
Breaking news to tell you about violence prompts the Cermak Road Cinco de Mayo parade to be disrupted as gunshots ring out.
WGN's Courtney Spinelli.
Look at these dudes. Check this out, man. They don't even care.
News to tell you about violence prompts the Cermak Road Cinco de Mayo parade to be disrupted as gunshots ring out.
This is insane. Every nationality over in Chicago is about that life. Every night, look, they standing on the fence. They have no fear whatsoever. The police officer is in the background. Do you see him with the vest on? Police officers is in the background everywhere. It's in the middle of the daytime, and they running up on each other throwing gang signs, about to get it off. Yo, Chicago is not a real place. I hate to say it. We were having this conversation over the weekend because, you know, Patreon members, bag chasers, you know, we always go to y'all different cities. We go to, you know, different places in order to do meetups and link up with people or whatever, right? And we was putting everything on the list, and Rita said, you know, we never been to Chicago for a meetup. I said, I know we do that for a reason. We can't even fly into the airport without seeing migrants. You can't walk down the street without seeing a vacancy rate. That's crazy. You know what's so crazy? Mika was here, and we walking down the street, and she said, Anton, because this is the first time that she's been here without it being cold, and so it's her third time coming here to come and kick in and live stream and create content and all of that stuff, right? So we walking down the street, and it's sunny, and we hanging out, and we over in this party, and so we hit this spot, and we hit this restaurant, we hit this bar or whatever. And she said, Anton, this is nothing like they say it is on TV. She says, this is nothing like they say it is on TV. She said, it's lit out here. So everybody was partying, having a good time. And then the mayor came up and he kicked it with us for a second and all this stuff, right? And she said, man, she said, you know, when I tell my people I'm about to fly to Detroit, they was like, oh no, it's so, she said, this is way different. Now I say that because it's ironic that it's almost like the two cities are switching places. You see all of the most popular places that used to be lit, the Chicagos and all of that stuff, and you can't walk down the street or you can't even catch an Uber at night. We feel very comfortable. I'll be walking down the street. Well, I ain't gonna give y'all all of the sauce, but I feel very, very comfortable. Absolutely. We just hosted over 750,000 people for the NFL draft. We got the Grand Prix is going to be here. Movement Festival is about to be here. Everything is absolutely lit. And we feel absolutely comfortable taking public transportation and not having any problem whatsoever. I would have never thought growing up, because everybody from Michigan, you know, whenever you would take a trip, you would either go to Cedar Point in Detroit, you would go to Cedar Point, or you would go over to Chicago. We would never guess in a million years that Chicago would be this degenerate to where in the middle of the daytime, gang members is throwing up signs and walking across the street trying to get it in with other gang members in the middle of a Cinco De Mayo parade. It's crazy, bro.
WGN's Courtney Spinelli is live on the West Side with the latest. Courtney.
Whitmer ain't got nothing to do with Detroit. Let's be clear. Governor Whitmer don't have nothing to do with the transformation of what's been happening in Detroit over the last 10 to 15 years. That's all citizens. That's all the police. That's all the mayor. That's all of that. Ain't got nothing to do with her whatsoever. Don't ever give our credit to what we doing as far as the transformation and stand down and keeping money in our own city and taking responsibility and ownership of what's going on in here. That's city council members. That's new leadership. That's the police officers. That's the police chief. That's the residents. That's Dan Gilbert. That's the Illich companies. That's the people and the citizens that have a vested interest in seeing this place grow and be successful. We're not dealing with none of that. Don't give none of our credit to somebody that ain't got nothing to do with what's happening in Detroit. That's straight up. You ain't see her here for the draft. You ain't see none of that. She ain't got nothing to do with what we got going on here.
Jackie and Taman, good afternoon. This afternoon, multiple people were arrested as tensions escalated in the city's Little Village neighborhood. Police say multiple guns were recovered, multiple objects were thrown at officers, and we do know that those taken into custody were taken to several places, one of those police districts right here at CPD's 10th District.
It's just it's out of control.
This right here, part of the reason why the historic Cinco de Mayo parade was canceled Sunday afternoon. It was set to step off at noon near Cermak and Damon, making its way to Marshall in California.
A lot of families, a lot of kids love parades. You know, I hate to see it happen, and, you know, it really bothers me, and it bothers everyone.
Due to area gang violence, police say they made the joint decision with elected officials and parade organizers out of an abundance of caution. Residents say parade goers and participants were getting ready for the celebration to start.
And they just just chaos just happens, you know. There's no respect.
Police sources say this is part of an ongoing territorial dispute between rival gangs. The violence unfolding along Cermak and surrounding streets on Sunday.
All right, 22nd in California, they're still shooting, guys. 2-2 in California.
Look at these.
4
victims.
shots fired. We got gangbangers pulled garbage cans up down the block over at 22nd.
They running up on each other right in front of police officers. They running up on each other. Running up on each other right in front of the police officers and making threats.
In California.
Tensions escalating as officers tried to disperse crowds. Police sources say people were still shooting. Groups flashing what appear to be gang signs on opposite sides of the road as crowds were running from one area to the next.
It's crazy.
Move it. They're starting to hit squad cars.
As streets in the area remain closed down, businesses like Raymond's Tacos shuttered their doors as vendors cleared the area. An impact to the people trying to make a living, as well as the ones living in the area where this unfolded.
You know, people are afraid to come into the neighborhood and people are moving out, but this is home, so I live here.
No, listen. Let me tell y'all good people and y'all folks in Chicago. If you a good person, and you know that you're a good person, if you are a good person, and I'm not talking about people that's giving off, yeah, man, I'm really a good person, but I do bad things. No. You stay in Chicago. But if you're a good person, we've played this game for too long. Where good people stay too long, they values, the property values get depressed, they businesses, they run them broke and run out of business, you keep getting stuff stole, and then you forced to make a decision. A lot of y'all be like, oh no, look, home is where you lay your head at night. Wherever it is that you are. Home is where you lay your head at night.
The community, they're afraid of the gangs.
The excitement to hold a parade canceled several times over the last few years due to various reasons, taken away once
Can't even go
again.
to Cinco De Mayo in
Residents say they
Chicago.
want to see change happen so people don't have to live in fear.
I hope they step up the police presence, you know.
If you coming for the Afro Beats Festival, Slimmy, I'll definitely link up with you, bro. I'll be here.
We are concerned, and I know the police are doing their best.
For Chicago to be a better community, we all need to work together. We need not to be
Can't
afraid.
negotiate with criminals, bro. You got to clean that junk up.
Now, right now, some conflicting information we're trying to work out. Police say that while the parade was canceled, those floats and their participants did have to be routed out of the area. So while it looks like there may have been a parade that was held and they were moving along a different route, they say they were just trying to get them out of there. Meantime, Alderman Byron Cicho Lopez and his office are disputing that claim, saying the parade went on as scheduled, starting on Damon along Blue Island until it finished at Blue Island and Washtenaw.
Listen, don't worry about it, guys. According to Brandon Johnson, these are just large gatherings. According to Brandon Johnson, hey, Fanny says she want to come if you come into Afrobeats, Slimmy. Afrobeats last year was lit here in Detroit. Movement Festival will be lit here in Detroit. But let me tell y'all, when y'all come to Movement and Afrobeats, it's parties all night. So it's almost like rave / festival at the same time. It's crazy. It's crazy. People don't even be getting sleep. They be dancing all night. It'd be a lot of fun. And so when y'all come through, make sure that y'all are about having a good time. Don't come to my city on no BS. Meanwhile, what's also happening in Chicago is that they're not just robbing you. So usually what happens when you get robbed is the perpetrators or the suspects want to hurry up because they don't want to get caught by the police. The criminals in Chicago have evolved so much, and they're not worried about it, that they stick around and also make sure that you give them all of the information that they need in order to make sure that they get whatever it is that they need from you from the banking apps. It's crazy, y'all.
Forced to unlock phones and banking apps at gunpoint. It's happened several times in the last 24 hours. One case caught on camera.
Our Tara Molina got her hands on those images.
Make sure y'all join the Q show tonight. It's going to be lit.
Crew that police are now looking for, and she brought these crimes to an expert to find out what you can do to protect yourself. Tara, we know our phones.
Y'all want to do Afrobeats, meet up in Detroit, August? We'll see what happens. Might have a after party on the rooftop. We'll get there. We'll get there. I got to talk to Rita and Q though.
Are just connected to so much these days. Exactly, Marie and Jim, and criminals know that too, and they're taking advantage. In the video you're about to see of the crew Chicago police are looking for right now, you will see exactly that. Check out this video. You can see the crew police say are behind at least 4 armed robberies with 5 victims since Thursday morning, surrounding a woman. Then you see them take off, guns in hand. One, phone in hand. Police say in one case, the victim was made to reset his password on his phone at gunpoint. In another, the victim was made to log into their banking applications within their phone at gunpoint. Take another look at the video. Police say the crew of 4 men travel in a gray Dodge Durango, you see that here, and carry handguns. You see those too. But apart from leaving your phone at home, something so connected to so many aspects of life, what can you do to make yourself less vulnerable? I checked in with Bill Cressy, also known as Professor Fraud, to find out. He says the best thing you can do is remove banking and cash apps from your phone.
This is crazy, yo. You can't even have Cash App on your phone no more because they're going to rob you and then make sure you reset your password so that they can get into the app and wire it to themselves. Look, bro, I never thought a day in my life that we get to the point, and I'm going to read that super chat shortly. Thank you, David Mosby. I never thought that we get to the point to where you can't even have Cash App on your phone. Yo, I'm afraid to not have Cash App on my, to have or to not have Cash App on my phone. Because if I show it to them and I'm like, yo, fam, I ain't even got Cash App, they might get mad. They might get mad. You can't even have a banking app or a Cash App on your phone? Really? Jesus Christ.
If that's not an option,
keep a separate account on a banking app and keep a low dollar amount in there, maybe a couple of $100, 1,000 tops. So that if you are confronted by a bad guy in this situation, yes, you'll be out a couple of $100, but you won't be out all of your money.
Chicago police are still looking for the crew behind this right now. We'll be back at 5 with more on how you can protect yourself. Reporting live downtown, I'm Tara Molina, CBS 2 News.
Hey, check this out. I'm about to read the super chats in a minute, but we'll get there. We'll get to that. Chicago, be safe, be careful, and don't find yourself with a banking Cash App on your phone as you're going through the city.